The secret identity of Granolah. You know, with every new arc comes new mysteries and new wonderment about what's next in the story of Dragon Ball Super, and really any manga, anime, or any TV show or any kind of form of entertainment. When a new story begins, we're all here trying to figure out, wondering about, speculating about where this is going and why we should care. When it comes to Dragon Ball theories, they really do run the gamut. I have seen some theories that really are downright brilliant from some of you guys that makes me wonder why you're not writing your own fiction. And I've seen some theories in the fandom that, let's just say, are pedantic and preschoolic to say the least. I've seen some theories that people put out that literally can be debunked in 2 seconds because they don't take more than 2 seconds to even think about their theory. And they put it out there because it sounds cool without thinking, does this make sense or can it make sense? So if I'm going to do one of these, especially for the final video I produced in 2020, mine had better damn well make sense, right? So when it comes to this character of Granolah, I have seen a couple of different, I've seen about 3 different theories over and over again come up from you guys, multiple times in fact. 3 of them seem to be coming up more than the other ones. One is that Granolah's an angel. 2 is that Granolah's a Saphurian, aka a Tuffle. That's why he's called Granolah the Survivor. And 3 is that Granolah is from one of the deleted universes that was brought back when 17 made his wish at the end of the Tournament of Power and has been in hiding since then until now. Well, all of that is plausible. That is a fact. And really, I think the key to figuring out who this guy is, who Granolah is not so much in where he comes from, because we can guess all of that 100 times all over again. But I think it's more so in trying to figure out what his motivation is and what his goals are. And it's not really clear right now except for one thing. He wants OG-73. Now, why does he want OG-73? I think the key to figuring out who Granolah is, in my little theory, once again, this is just speculation. This is not a spoiler. This is not a secret insider information. That's not what we're doing here. It's just my guess, because I have no clue who he is, but it's my guess. Is based on what was presented to us and the information we got in the Moro arc, since this arc is a continuation of that arc. And the key thing is, what could Granolah want from 7-3? And one would assume that maybe Granolah wants to reprogram 7-3 to sort of become his minion, to accomplish whatever goal he wants to accomplish. Or perhaps he wants to figure out a way to tap into that character copying ability that 7-3 has. But to me, I think it's a lot simpler than that. The one thing that we have to remember is that even though it happened when 7-3 was fused with Moro, 7-3 presumably still should have the powers of Mirrors. Now, to me, that seems like a pretty damn big prize. You have a android, a artificially created being that has inside of him the powers of an angel, albeit perhaps not an angel at the level of a Whis or a Vados, but nonetheless still an angel. So, would it not make sense that Granolah wants to harness the powers inside of 7-3, not just the powers he took from the Z Fighters, but specifically the angelic power? Now, obviously, everyone is going to want those powers, because now we know that 7-3 did indeed survive. He was not destroyed alongside Moro as we thought based on the previous manga chapter. So it would make sense that he might have some of that angelic power, that divine energy inside of him. Now, I believe, without question, that I think Granolah has been watching this entire Moro arc unfolding from afar. I think he's been spying on this entire arc. I think he knows exactly who Goku is. He knows who Mirrors was. He knows who Moro was and what he did. Maybe not the entire arc start to finish, but certainly the stuff that happened on Earth during the climax. And I think that he, in secret, was keeping an eye on this and saw that Moro, with 7-3 absorbed, had the powers of Mirrors. I think he has to have some kind of knowledge of the vastness of this power that the angels have, and he may want to tap into it. Now, that's only part of the equation here. Remember, I'm using my brain to think this through with you guys. This is not just some whacked out idea I came up with at 2 in the morning without thinking about it. I thought about this a little bit. So obviously he's been keeping an eye, and as we saw in chapter 6-7, we saw him chasing after that other ship that found the head of 7-3, right? He was kind of, hunting behind them, and then he eventually overtook them. And I think he wants Myrrh's powers. Now, to quote what Kylo Ren said at the beginning of Rise of Skywalker, who is she? Or in this case, who is he? Who is Granolah? Well, people have said he's a Sephorian based on the fact that Granolah has fruit in it sometimes, and as you know, Sephorian / Tuffle names are based on fruit, because the whole pun with Planet Vegeta is that the Saiyans were vegetables and the Tuffles were fruit. That's why I don't really like the name Tuffles, because it's a very bad dub name, and Sephorian makes more sense with the pun based on the Japanese approximation of that word. But nonetheless, you know what I'm talking about. I don't think he's a Sephorian. I don't think he's a Tuffle. I'm not. If he is, I wouldn't be surprised. It would be fine. But I don't think he's a Tuffle. I think we have to look at the other major event that's happened, not just last arc, but this one, and that is Myrrh's involvement. Myrrh got involved in a battle on Earth and used his angelic powers to attack Moro and thus vanished, but was later brought back as a mortal man in the last chapter. He is now a regular Ningen like everybody else. So, what if Granolah is not an angel, because some of you guys think he is, but maybe he was an angel? Maybe at some point Granolah was an angel, and the Grand Priest gave him mercy and made him immortal, and maybe what he wants to get those angelic powers back. We've been talking about Ultra Instinct Goku, and we've been talking about how he's become so powerful that the next villain they face off against may have to have angelic level powers. Maybe not high tier angels, but at least higher than God of Destruction levels. Would it not make sense if Granolah was a former angel who's been immortal for a very long time, amortal, not immortal, amortal for a very long time, now has developed regular skin and everything? Then again, Myrrh also hid his skin. Don't forget that in the colored version of the manga, Myrrh did hide his true skin color. You can do that. And he just wants his angelic powers back. Now, you might be wondering, well, if he gets his angelic powers back and he hurts somebody, won't he just disappear like Myrrh? Well, not necessarily, because think about this. If he gets his powers back, or if he gets, not his powers, if he gets the powers of an angel, he would not be an actual angel. He's not an actual angel. He would just be tapping into the powers of an angel, and thus he would not be connected spiritually to the other angels. Because remember, the reason as to why Myrrh disappeared the way he did, without anybody showing up, is because the angels are interconnected spiritually. Not just to their gods of destruction and to the Supreme Kais, but to each other. Right? And this was pretty much implied in the last chapter. So if you can figure out how to tap into the powers of an angel without actually being connected to the gods, to Zeno, to the Grand Priest, then he can do whatever the hell he wants in the mortal world and run amok, and he won't just disappear. He has to actually be stopped. Now, in this case, if this is the case, would the angels, Whis, would they actually get involved in this conflict? And it would make sense if they did, right? To stop one of their own. However, if this guy, Granolah, knows all the angel secrets, knows all the back doors, so to speak, knows all the cheat codes, he might have a way to figure out how to duck them, or figure out something to get around them, or perhaps they cannot get involved because now that Granolah's immortal, it might be a matter that only mortals can resolve. So that to me makes the most sense. Now, could he be from one of the deleted universes? The answer is yes, maybe. He might be. Could he be seeking revenge for being deleted? Or at least he was about to be deleted, but he somehow escaped. Maybe he escaped was stripped of his powers by the Grand Priest, and that's what he wants to get back. Wouldn't that not make sense? Maybe the Grand Priest said, okay, you're trying to duck getting deleted, so we're going to cut you out of the family and just let you go. Because now we know there are other angels out there besides just the original 12 from the 12 universes. There are other ones like Mirrors. So I think Granolah being an angel, or a former angel, and trying to figure out how to tap into that power, I think makes the most sense. What do you think? Am I crazy? Are there holes in my theory? Obviously, we have a whole few months left to go before we actually find out. Maybe we'll find out next month, but probably not. And I think it'll take some time before he actually gets to tap into those powers. But he would provide a brand new challenge for Goku and the gang if he can tap into Mirrors' abilities. And unlike Moro, his body's not going to mutate because he's already had those powers before. And thus, he'll be okay. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Happy New Year. I love you all. Take care of yourself.